Hello, SpeedGaming 3. Welcome back for Game 2, farfelu versus TGDerp. We had a really good race the first time here in this best of 3. Farfelu ended up taking the win with a little more fortuitous routing, ended up being more thorough, checking some portals to narrow down where Turin was before committing to Lower Norfair. We'll see what the settings are in Game 2, hoping it's another good race. The other one was pretty close, just a few minutes apart at the end, all things considered. Joined by Tracy again. Welcome back, Tracy.
Yeah, hi. We're gonna have a little bit of a late start from Derp. We asked him to reconnect in order to help with some of the streaming issues, and it didn't quite connect right away. So we're gonna miss the very beginning, but it should be fine. Farfelu also well aware of the situation as well, so we're gonna go ahead and move on. Game's mostly, all the same, right? We're going to get a morph ball, we're going to get maybe a major item, we'll find out, what our settings are. Well, some of our settings, not all of our settings.
For our sanity and sake of tracking the race, it's let's hope we don't have a divergence if one runner goes through meme route and follows a portal somewhere and the other one doesn't, and they're totally different places with totally different item sets.
That could be problematic. Okay, what do we know so far? We know that this is not Countdown. We know that we have a starter charge beam, and we know I have a very blue ship. I think I commented on the ship color the last time, but I like that blue. It's a pretty color.
Yeah, I know Farfelu always uses the same sprite, the Ninja Turtle sprite. I don't know if that's what it actually is called, but that's what it looks like to me. It's kind of like Donatello.
That's kind of turtley, yeah.
It's not quite like the Kaizo. Maybe it is the Kaizo one, and just the screen's really dark for his.
No, I don't think
settings,
like the Kaizo one just looks. The Kaizo one just looks goofy on it, like almost that kind of some of the more different non-Samus shape sprites that look almost cartoony. Mm-hmm. I feel like the Kaizo one kind of looks like that as well. I like this. This I like a lot better. And we get a screw attack at the morph ball pedestal, which means one, we have an early screw attack, and two, this is major minor again.
Yeah, that's last time we had the spring ball there. The screw attack's honestly better in most situations. Like it's never going to be logically required, but it's just so good for killing enemies early. There's a few exceptions, like deboosting is kind of hard in some places. Like trying to do X-ray deboost with screw attack on is just
turn it off. Yeah. Well, no one does it. Everybody turns it off.
But even like alpha power bombs, like going in there with screw attack is pretty rough.
Yeah. The only progression thing this screw attack affects is exactly the plasma beam location, which has 3 other ways of getting it. So it's extremely rare that screw attack is anything logical, other than very early we do need something to break blocks. So yeah, the early screw attack to break the blocks, but we also have power bombs, so that's not going to be an issue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's pretty rare that you even see plasma check in major minor. Like there's so many other majors that are so much easier to check, so much faster, that just ends up being so out of the way. It's like even if it's a suit, just go suitless. It's not going to be gravity suit. So, well, I guess it could be in boss shuffle, but
all right, I see a derp. Likely. Okay, we got 2 frozen screens
phasing in. So
okay, so yeah, we'll get some actual content here.
I'm guessing power bombs at the construction site.
I'm guessing supers are an issue because I'm seeing. I see no supers on Derp's side. Both okay, so I see an East Meridia, so that's probably meme route into East Meridia, and he's probably coming back out. Oh no, we're okay. Well,
we're in Brinstar now. I guess we already were technically.
Okay, well, we have no idea what's going on.
So what I'm guessing happened here is they checked the meme route portal, took them to the bottom of Red Tower, where we see East Meridia and Croc. And it'd have to be the tube then in this scenario.
Yeah, I think so.
And with
That would
power
make the
bombs,
most
you don't have
sense.
to worry about like going through the tube and not getting back, because you could always power bomb it and do the gravity jump as it's breaking, or running through the hallway and just grab jump through the door. Yeah, you can't check the majors here, so you just go.
Yeah, Crocomire kind of tempting. You got some minor locations.
I don't think that's tempting.
With the starter
You can't
charge.
survive. You can't survive to get to the E-Tank.
No,
item
you can't
back,
survive to
and
the
you
E-Tank
can't
item.
like you go all the way to grapple. How do you get there? You can't.
They don't have supers. It's true. So you'd have to be hoping that your supers are there. I guess. I don't know what else.
I don't think you do Croc here, because you can get back to Red Tower.
Oh
the
wait,
tube is
the tube is single chamber.
Okay.
Well, unfortunately, can't do that right now with no E-Tanks.
Yeah, I guess the middle of Red Tower here is probably the meme route, and we're gonna take a save maybe and go up, or just go straight up.
Looks like, is anyone gonna go? Nope, not gonna go for the super early X-ray. I mean, without an E-Tank, that's really rough. It is doable. I mean,
no, we're checking this portal too. Going back to criteria.
No, I think we're just going back.
I don't know that I like that.
You got power bombs going all the way up Red Tower. Seems reasonable.
Yeah, I guess you can't get the miners there. I was thinking that the alpha power bombs is 2 miners. Maybe one of them is a super, but it's super.
So it really, ends up just being. Oh, and farfelu is going to do it, but it does end up just being portal checks.
Yeah, I still think that's worth, like, just this trip up to criteria is so slow that if you don't get vile plumed and you hit a criteria at the top, you're saving time going this way by a lot.
Also, shout out to Jestro, who's not only tracking, but he's also taking care of all our dumb little setup issues.
You got a button.
Got a button.
It's the super button. Okay.
Oh, good. It is supers. So farfelu's going to find out what these portals go to. It would be funny if one of these... It wouldn't be funny and not surprising if it...
Yeah. That's
See, there we go. Just right to criteria. Yep.
Or sorry, criteria instead.
So this works out really well for farfelu, other than... assuming that there's a super missile somewhere for him.
Yeah, if he's got to come all the way down
the old mother brain for that,
that's not great. That's pretty slow, but we'll see. I mean, you could do Gauntlet. You could do, like, I'd rather do Gauntlet over that for sure.
Well, yeah, with 10 power bombs and screw attack, that's not hard at all.
Bad. The lack of an E-Tank means you can't make a big mistake, but
but you're gonna save
take it a little safe and you're fine. I'd even probably scout the back.
I would totally
see if it's a super here, like. Because if it's a super, you just go through Gauntlet, like, before even looking at Bomb Chorizo, probably.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to go 230 for any reason. Like,
of course, in the end, farfelu is going to be a little bit behind Derp getting to Bomb Chorizo, so I don't know, maybe... No, I still like it. Even though Derp is getting to BT first, I like this better just because farfelu has that extra knowledge. And we get a space jump. Well, now we just do Gauntlet, because now it's free.
That makes Gauntlet very easy, yeah.
Space jump plus screw attack equals free Gauntlet.
What was the... Sorry, did we see the other portal at the top of Red Tower, or did we just take the one here to criteria?
I thought we did, and I already forget.
I just zoned that out with all the shenanigans that are happening.
I would take a save. Like, it is still possible to screw this up.
Yeah. I'd take a save if for no other reason than you're going to want those power bombs at some point. So, like, having more have your power bombs full while you're refilling.
Yeah, it's a really good point.
Save. Like, there is some value in that, and it's a quick save or quick health refill, anyways.
On the other hand, we're just
a little surprised Derp's the one doing this, because it's a lot less value for Derp. I maybe would have skipped it, having all this ammo in hand.
Okay, it's a good thing he did get that E-Tank, because I'm not sure he had a full 99 health there.
He had 94, so it would have been enough.
Okay, so he'd be okay. He'd have 0.04 left. There's going to be supers at the back, at all supers, and a power bomb pack.
So it's going to be good for farfelu, probably, because he's going to do this too, and not have to go all the way down to Old Mother Brain. Really just be the one super behind, but he's got extra portal knowledge and the grapple already, so they're going to converge. Actually, farfelu probably goes right from the ship, and Derp probably goes...
Yeah, Derp doesn't know these criteria portals.
Red Tower? I don't know what... We'll see. He's
gonna... Oh,
he's got to check.
I don't like this.
Oh.
I don't like this check at all. This is slow, annoying, and I mean, it could be a super, which would be good for farfelu.
Still
But
half as many miners as going to the left.
yep,
But if you
and
get
no
your supers,
majors.
you just don't have to go through Gauntlet. So
okay, so he does get a super pack.
That's a really interesting way to do that rule. Like he space jumped underneath all the Alcoons. That was really neat.
Yeah, Farfel's not even going to bother with Gauntlet, which, you know, it's going to cost him a super and a power bomb and an E-tank, but that should be okay.
The criteria is double top of Red Tower. That's what.
Oh, it is. Okay.
That's now why I was confused by not seeing it, because we saw it.
That's why I didn't remember, because
they looped to themselves.
I mean, why not? We just had the double East Meridian at the bottom of Red Tower, and we see Upper Norfair for Farfelu.
And the double West Meridian at the top last time, too.
Did he just go the top of Business Center into both criterias?
I think so.
I think he did.
Yeah, a couple of these loops.
Oh my god!
Like, it almost makes sense when you look at like putting the puzzle pieces together. You know, like the doors kind of line up.
That's funny. Derp's gonna get this X-ray item. Let's see what it is. Oh, speed booster, really big. Nice.
Okay,
that's huge. Now Farfelu doesn't have any. Like, I don't think. Can you make it to ice at night? Certainly, you can't keep the item at ice with 99 health. Can you get there? Like one tank, you can get there for sure, and if it's an E-tank or Varia, you get to keep it.
Well, I was gonna say that power bomb pack gives him a crystal flash.
That's true. That's true.
But it's
there's
okay. Now he's fine.
Really, he can at least get. You can at least see the item.
I think you can get there, but it's tough, and
yeah, you can get there if it's an E-tank.
You'd have to like potentially kill the Novas and get the drops to make
sure it's really tight. And of course you can see if it's heat reduction, if it's gravity suit. I'm already thinking like it's gravity suit, which is dumb. Just was a particular seed several weeks ago where that did happen, and it was heat reduction. The player involved reset, and we're like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
And everybody thought after the reset. No one thought before the reset. Check it. Are you not gonna save there, Farfelu? Yeah, I think
might be just hit the wrong button.
Oh yeah, I've done that before. It's so annoying.
Yeah, so Derp with that speed booster though is gonna help a lot. It makes it faster in and out of Ice Beam. It means there's no Cathedral here when he gets to Upper Norfair. He can just go straight through the Frog Speedway.
Yes, he's gonna get to Upper Norfair a different way though. Presumably from single chamber, which we've seen, or one of the other two portals at the bottom, the Croc portal and the Chronic Boost portal.
Is he doing Croc? Is that what this is for?
Farming maybe
supers to make sure he's got a quick Croc fight and enough for the. He won't have to gate glitch, but yeah, I think that's a smart play. It's a little off the path. Like you could definitely justify not doing Croc here, but I kind of like it.
Yeah, Farfelu is going to be able to get out with this E-tank because it is an E-tank.
See, now both the Croc majors are easy to get.
Yeah, absolutely. So you were right to wait, and really, honestly, that's the only reason why you could even do that Croc at that point is because we do have that starter charge for the fight. And Farfel's just gonna have to leave this Upper Norfair, but he assuming he goes back to Red Tower, he's gonna be able to get the speed booster. Get some more E-tanks and maybe come back, but it doesn't, he could just come back through single chamber because by then he'd have enough E-tanks. We'll see if he also chooses to make the Croc play. I could see him skipping it though. Might feel a little behind at this point. Might do Gauntlet now.
Yeah, he could. I don't know that I'd like the Gauntlet now. Like,
I wasn't thinking it
when it has all the value rather than once you've already gotten your supers 2 packs even, so you can Crystal Flash with full ammo.
Okay, he just wants to save. I was thinking the save might be for Gauntlet, but yeah, he just wants to save. And Plasma Beam is nice out of Croc, but not game changing.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, I guess it could be depending on what beam combinations of both our runners end up at.
That plus the E-tank probably makes it worth the time. I don't know, maybe not. It's, you don't. I wouldn't feel like terrible about it, but it does feel like a little bit of a time loss, I think.
So let's see. We have 3 red tower portals into Criteria. 2 at the top that connect right next to each other. One that goes to Croc. And what was the other one? Like this map is really weird.
The upper north single chamber?
Yeah, it's a single chamber. That's right.
Yeah.
So
we haven't hit any.
I mean,
Meridias yet? No, we did see a Meridia. There's an east. There's 6 portals in Red Tower. There's an East Meridia as well.
Okay. Farfelu picks up his speed booster. Derp's trying to figure out where to go next.
Oh, single chamber was the tube, which is where you want to go. He's just trying to get this gravity jump.
This
it's
is
a little
doable
awkward with speed. Okay, nicely done.
Yeah. It's doable. Not in logic. You won't be asked to do that particular jump without high jump or gravity. But I mean, we can get here. Speed booster and the business center portals get us here. Derp doesn't know that, but I mean, he's got to suspect that there is another way up here. So he just takes the one he knows he has.
Yeah.
The speed booster itself is in logic. I would check that location if I were Derp at the very least. Maybe grab those supers as well, although less crucial now we got plasma beam, but we don't have the charge upgrade, so super is still pretty valuable.
Oh, he turned the speed booster off. Okay, never mind. I was surprised about that gravity jump through the tube with speed booster on, but it wasn't on the whole time. Why he was able to get it so easily, or at least made it look easy. It's still tricky.
Also, it's really nice to have screw attack and space jump for some of those other checks. All of them are doable, but it looks like Derp wants to go to Business Center first, and that makes sense. He'll get 2 E-tanks out of it, so we'll make all those stuff over at Single Chamber a lot easier. And then he's going to get the fun find of the the Business Center portals.
Yeah, if the Business Center portals were good and ones that he'd want to follow, this might end up being less beneficial to check in this order, but he's going to get the items over here, check the portal, go back, and then get the good portals, whatever they may lead to. Because we're running out of places we can go after we clear out the rest of these items.
Yeah, I bet there's something.
The Croc door and the Chronic boost, and those are probably lead to something good, like a West Meridia if we get a high jump boots, or a like high jump and spring ball, or we get gravity, which is more likely. Green Bryn is still available. That's gonna be somewhere.
Yeah, this whole there's got to be one of those portals that we haven't seen off of Upper Norfair. I have a feeling. I mean, it's got to be either something good or we're gonna get a suit soon. Farfelu gets his energy tank, and I imagine he will go back to. He will get the plasma beam. Energy tank's not good enough here to just leave Croc. Do you have in chat coming up with the worst case scenario and having the area to area connector with Chronic and Croc connecting to that? Somehow I don't think that's going to happen because we don't have very many other ways out. Farfelu's going to continue to check some extra ammo. I don't think he'll be checking much extra ammo after he gets the plasma beam. At least not something this far out of the way.
Oh, for sure. Nice ice escape by Derp there.
And now Derp gets to have a good laugh at these portals.
Yeah, I think you just take one loop because you're going to go left and then you're going to keep going left.
Yep,
or no, I guess you go back to the right and then you come out the left door.
Yep. And then our runners will both probably converge up in Bubble Mountain. And
Yeah,
be
I
checking those
think-
locations, and
I
both
think
with
Derp's a
pretty good
little
health.
ahead. Derp's definitely a little bit ahead.
Yeah, I think so.
But if Farfelu like nails that gravity jump up the tube, then it's not going to be a big difference.
And yep, Derp probably having a nice chuckle now as he heads back down the Upper Norfair elevator. Fortunately, we do have the speed booster, so we can just run across.
Yeah, that saves a lot of time and a lot of energy, which means that you don't have to farm before doing the next check. With Space Jump and Screw Attack, you just go into the reserve and get across real easy there.
And hopefully Farfel will be able to do this gravity jump.
I'm sure he knows how to do it. I don't know if there's other setups besides the one that I do, but I'm sure there's a setup somebody has for Speed Booster without having to unequip it.
First, we get another E-Tank. That's not the item.
The menu of shame to turn off the Speed Booster, because Farfelu probably either doesn't have a setup or just finds it more difficult to do that way.
Oh,
that's different than when I do.
He totally had it.
The door.
Yeah, he totally had it, and then just didn't quite get the shot off.
Yeah, see, I do it the way that Derp does it, because you just kind of line up all the way against, with your back against the door on the left side of the room, and then you jump like the last pixel and hold up through the door, and you'll put your face into the platform in the middle of the room, but that'll make sure all your momentum goes straight up from there.
We'll take another super pack.
Farfelu's doing a little bit differently, but he clearly got it. Nice job.
Somehow Farfel has one less E-Tank. Well, now two less, but the second one we're going to see. Oh, there's Gravity Suit. Okay. So East Meridia somehow. Oh, the Gauntlet E-Tank. That's right. Thank you, D-Web.
Yes. Don't have the heat protection on Gravity. That's another one of the mystery settings confirmed. The devs did get that pressure valve icon showing up for seeds that are generated now for the playoffs, so that you don't have to look as carefully to watch your health tick down, and you don't run the risk of finding Gravity and one runner maybe doesn't check a heated room after getting it, and then kind of gets disadvantaged by that. I really like that change personally. The burden of the extra E-Tank is that it's more E-Tanks to fill.
Terrible burden. And we'll get the last item here, the Wave Beam. And I imagine we'll get portal checks.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want more power bombs, apparently. At this point, you don't really need them, although having extra Crystal Flash, just Wave Beam. Nice item. Farfelu's going to get these in a slightly different order, going to get this Wave Beam first, and then I imagine we'll get the reserve tank item. It does have enough to get out of here, but, if any mistakes are made, he does have Crystal Flash ammo to make sure of it.
Dirt must have forgotten he got the Wave Beam, taking the bottom route instead of using it on the gate on the way back.
And Dirt
with this loadout's a little faster.
Okay, so this is interesting. He's just leaving.
Oh wait, I see what you mean. Yeah. So
I'm not checking the portals. That surprises me.
He's going through East Meridia then.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he's got all the things he needs for it, other than a Very Suit. If Ridley decides to show up.
Plenty of energy with 30 supers. I don't see a problem with Ridley here. With
No,
what,
you're right.
5-in-1 energy for someone of
I just
dirt
wanna
skill
know.
level, I think that's fine.
For me, I just want to know what those other portals are.
Yeah.
You know, and then if it turns out I have to East Meridia, I know whether to go to the back or not.
There's enough portals left, though, that you're probably going to hit one. Like, you're going to come out one of those later, just anyway.
I guess the only really bad outcome is if you go out the back of East Meridia is if you end up at Turian. Great is fine because then it's just going to be a backtrack
but if you go anyway. If you go out the back of East Meridia and it's being Turian, like, then you know. I mean,
yeah, it's true.
Then you go back to those portals in Upper Norfair. That's the next thing you do. Yeah, I think both are just totally fine defensible plays.
Okay, but you do need enough speed before you hit the sand to run through this. I hate when that happens. Yeah, in fact, Derp's farming up just in case this is Ridley. But yeah, you might actually have 2 reserves even. I'm not sure. But 30 supers if you execute the fight. Don't miss a super. 5 plus a reserve is going to be fine. You like to have... That reserve is really good for Ridley because you don't want to use that ahead of time. You want to have some energy health left in there for the iframes for the end of the fight.
Yeah, if your reserve is full at 100 and even if you are at 1 health when Ridley grabs you, it'll wait till after to pop the reserve, and then you'll have enough energy to survive until the drops show up.
Yep.
Unless you get an exceptionally bad drop pattern and you just happen to be right in a spot where there's no drops. And if that happens, you're kind of just out of luck.
Let's see if this is an extra super. It is not. Derp's going to use missiles on the eye door. What do we got?
That's not Ridley with the slow load.
Okay, so we know very little. This could, you know, once you see one vanilla boss, it feels like a lot of times it's just going to be vanilla bosses. Of course, it doesn't have to be. It is Dragon though, so we have our options. We can do Speed Booster. We have Grapple Beam. We have a very weak Charge Beam. We can take some shots with. Yeah, farfelu is in my school of thought. He's going to check these portals. You may have already checked the Chronic one. I missed it. Chronic goes to Turian. Okay, thank you, DWeb.
Yeah, I probably would have checked the portals myself, just on the off chance you get to like Green Brinstar and you can really go to the item-heavy locations early on.
So we get West Meridia, which has got to connect somewhere to Green Brin.
Progress on bosses is
not a bad thing at all.
Very valuable, yeah.
And here's Rex ship. Farfelu is going to take it.
So if Ridley's at Rex ship, this is a little more awkward, especially because of the 2 super doors on the way in, and Farfelu being a super pack behind and an energy tank behind.
Yep, absolutely.
Now 2 energy tanks behind. But I'm sure he'll take a save before going in here and check the miner at Spooky Missiles. And we'll see if Derp decides to go out the back, or he might just go back out the front, which is the quicker way to go, and then check those Upper Norfair portals, which I think is also totally valid way to play this out.
I think it looks like he's gonna check the back.
Okay.
We know that this is not gonna be a bad outcome now, knowing the Turian is off of Upper Norfair. This is either gonna be trade, in which case you loop back and everything else is off of West Meridia, or it's gonna just take us to Green Brin or West Meridia.
Yeah, Kraid here would be huge for Derp. Actually,
it really would be.
Because then Farfelu would have to backtrack from the other half of the map that he's on to get to East Meridia.
What a bizarre map! What an incredibly bizarre map this is turning out to be. Oh, and we're gonna get a plasma check. Yeah, sure. Didn't we just say that no one checks this?
I sure did.
I mean, it totally makes sense that he's checking it now. This is very much a situation where checking this makes sense. But Just funny that we kind of poo-pooed a little bit. And Bantoon also at home, so this is definitely looking like vanilla bosses so far. Just Spring Ball at Plasma. Which at this point, you know, I like Spring Ball, I pick it up, but it doesn't have much, it doesn't really have any kind of progressional use at this point. Since we already have some pretty decent movement items. And we already have the gravity suit, so Spring Ball Jump's not going to be really coming into play at all. Very nice Fantoon fight from Farfelu.
Yeah, just that one super miss prevented the 2-round. Looks like
2 rounds are hard. In fact, Derp's going to go ahead and show off that Spring Ball right here, right now. And the question is, how much of the wreck ship does Farfelu check? Now, last time we were in wreck ship, our runners were basically in go mode. In fact, they were in go mode. There really wasn't a need to check anything. There were some quality of life items available, so we checked some of the easier spots. But we're still missing a Varia suit, so we may see a few more checks here.
Yeah, the 2 vanilla bosses makes it more likely that Ridley is at home in Lower Norfair, and you're not really going to want to do Suitless LN, or at least be less incentivized to do it.
No, there's your LN.
There's the back of LN. That's a hard call. Do you just go? I think you just go. You have like basically 2 crystal flashes here.
I wouldn't do this. I mean, there are people that are good enough to do this. And if Derp can pull this off, this is going to work out really well for him.
The question isn't if Derp is good enough to do it. Is Derp good enough to do it quickly enough for it to be worth doing?
That's also the question. A really good point.
I think at this point, just about everybody left in the tournament can do this LN, but are they going to do it without accidentally taking a death on the Ridley fight and having to go a second time, or having to farm extra like we saw that in a race just the other day?
Yeah, we did.
A runner totally capable of doing it just took some extra time farming, like took a death, and then the second attempt went smoothly, but it was just way too much time loss.
It'd be really funny if Heat Shield decided to show up here. Not that would.
I think competitively, this is a really good decision from Derp because he's already gone through the back of East Meridian. It feels like such a huge time sink. Like it probably feels sync charge upgrade.
I love it.
We learned before seeing the damage value that it's the starter plus. But it might feel like to Derp like I have to push this because otherwise this is such a huge backtrack. I don't think he saved after the Dragon fight. Yeah, I don't know. And he's only seen 1 boss, so we know there's 2 vanilla bosses, but Derp is still looking at this like, okay, well, just because one's vanilla,
if this is,
I guess if one's vanilla, that we could have the 3-way shuffle. Like, there's more options for it to be.
Yep.
Still some kind of mix-up.
And Farfelu finds Green Brinstar.
That's a really good find. I think Farfelu's in a much better position, but if Derp can do this and get either an E-Tank or like you said, a Heat Shield behind Ridley, or if it's not Ridley, that's also really good for Derp, because then he won't have nearly as much trouble, getting back to farm another Crystal Flash after the boss.
And he's going to combine a Crystal Flash with blowing out these blocks, which is really good. Really nice when the timing works out for such things.
Yeah, he does have Morph Bombs, so it doesn't actually save a Power Bomb, but it's good, like, to not have to think about that.
Yeah, actually, bombs is one of the more underrated. I'd forgotten he had bombs. That's a kind of an underrated item for this particular play, because the number of power bombs you get to save for Crystal Flashes instead of having to use them to break the blocks is pretty significant.
Yeah, bombs and then Speed Booster and Spring Ball for the way out are both nice. You do the Speed Ball at Wasteland, and then you Spring Ball out at the bottom of Three Musketeers. Sorry, Key Hunter Stairs.
Yeah, I think you end up only. Yeah, I think you end up only needing like 1 power bomb, just the one in Wasteland if you have this item loadout. Because we have screw attack to break some blocks, we have bombs to break other blocks, and bombs or speed booster. So lots of options to save power bombs.
It's not a good grapple.
And grapple beam for farming is good when you use it right.
Yeah, you don't want to grapple that enemy in midair and fall on the acid. That's bad. You just get to this platform, kind of get to the spot. Like, the safest way to do it quickly is to get to this spot as soon as possible. So Derp's gonna Crystal Flash. That charge damage upgrade is pretty huge, because now he just has to Crystal Flash and go. He doesn't really have to farm up the last 10 supers. He's trying to farm up maybe missiles here, I guess. Oh, he needs missiles. He doesn't have 10 missiles.
Oh, he needs missiles. Yeah, missiles kind of the missiles for the Crystal Flash are significant, and these guys don't like to drop missiles. So we might be. There's one. Okay.
There we go. All right, so he's safe there. If it's not Ridley, we're nearly out of the woods. If it's Ridley,
if this is not Ridley, it's Kraid.
It depends a lot on what's behind him. That's Ridley going right to left door.
So this is almost certainly vanilla bosses at this point. Could still be surprised, but...
not 6. 12 charge shots to make up for the 10 supers that were down.
That sounds right.
Oh, that speed booster with no high jump boots ruining the Pogo manipulation. It's so hard to use.
High jump. I've said it before. Every time I've had, every death to Ridley I've had in the last several years has been no high jump boots, and then just kind of forgetting that I didn't have high jump boots. So there's a reset.
That was an absurd scam on that super. Yeah, the one he shot down didn't hit. It just went right through him. I can't believe that didn't connect. That's pretty bad for Derp here. We'll see if he tries again or if he just leaves. He hasn't sunk that much time in it. You still have a chance in the race depending on what your opponent did if you leave, but it's
he's leaving.
You kind of have to count on my opponent either did the same thing or makes a mistake somewhere. But it's not like an unreasonable, I'm behind by so much that I've definitely lost at this juncture.
Wow, so watching Derp do his lower Norfer thing, I've kind of missed most of what's going on in Green Brinstar. It looks like the X-ray scope is about as good as it's gotten.
E-tanks. Farfelu is behind on E-tanks, and now he's ahead on E-tanks.
So yeah, at this point...
more supers, more missiles, which actually the missiles are pretty big. If Derp had more missiles, that farm would have been faster. He could have used a couple on Ridley. That's potentially better DPS.
Also, 40 supers is not insignificant if you're going for a Ridley fight in LN.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, Farfelu is going to probably end up hitting the front of Lower Norfair, and depending on whether or not he's found gravity, might just do it. And it's going to have a much better time, even doing it front to back. You lose a little bit more health going in, but the extra 10 supers, the extra 10 power bombs, the extra 25 missiles would be huge. Extra 1 E-tank.
So is various... Well, I guess it's probably parts of East Meridia. There's Shacktool or something dumb like that. But there's also... At this point, we're kind of down to whatever wreck ship spots that we didn't see. I know Farfelu didn't check much of it.
He didn't check out the wreck ship at all. Sandpit, Shacktool. Did we check Mama Turtle?
Farfel had to have checked Mama Turtle. He's done a lot of this West Meridia stuff. Charge was at Mama Turtle, right? We had the dueling charge.
Yeah, that's right. I saw the item and I didn't process where it was. Just that we saw it.
Oh, that's a good question. Are we down to D-Web in chat saying that front of Lower Norfair is probably created at this point? Oh, that's so bad.
Then there was no way Derp was going to be doing that.
No.
Anyway, that's a good point.
Yeah, so various
that's just too much with this loadout.
I mean, at this point, Derp needs to find various suit without...
He needs to find it at Shacktool right now, and Farfelu doesn't.
Or Sandpit, go do Sandpit into Shacktool. Yeah, that would
the Sandpit's on path enough that I feel like if it's in the Sandpit, Farfelu also just grabs it.
Oh, that's a good point. But Derp's just leaving East Meridia, not checking any more of it.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna keep him in this competitively.
No, I
or
don't
I guess
either.
top a wreck ship if it's like
Yeah,
a
farfelu
gravity.
didn't go back to wreck ship, so
Derp does wreck ship and it's at gravity or something, then that's maybe a chance. Really interesting set of circumstances here still. Assuredly, Derp feels a million years behind right now.
yeah.
Even though he's still alive in the race.
So yeah, we're gonna get our runners are gonna reverse what they did before, and with farfelu not having various suit, is gonna run into the same issue that Derp did over at the other side of East Meridia. And given that if Kraid really is front of Lower Norfair, I'm not gonna say he can't do it, because I've said that before about doing reverse acid dives without various suits and such, and people have done it anyway. But it's not exactly great.
Well, the gravity still protects you from the acid damage. It's just the heat damage.
Yep.
Ticks normally, so it's okay with gravity and not Varia. It's just
at least you got the movement through the acid.
It's just so slow, and you have to farm you'd have to farm your power bombs probably in the frog pocket on the way out of Kraid's lair to be able to get the crystal flashes to go back the other way. It's so slow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good point in chat, that farfelu has eliminated all these other portals, and with the portal knowledge he has, he's gonna know that it has to be the chain of Lower Norfair to Kraid. So he might go check. He might go check the sand pit. No, he's just giving himself more speed rather than doing the short charge. After the boss, he might go do sand pit, and then maybe even shack before going into Lower Norfair.
He could. See what Derp finding the ship. So it might come down to, is various suit here in East Meridia and farfelu finds it, or is various suit in wreck ship and Derp finds it. If Derp leaves without getting it in the wreck ship, then I don't see a path for him.
I don't see how Derp would leave without, well,
because he hasn't seen Green Bryn
He hasn't
Star.
seen Green Bryn, you're right.
Green Bryn. But Green Bryn is a load of crap. There's nothing there.
What's the third Green Bryn check? Oh, there are 2 West Meridias.
Yep.
And a wreck check. Okay, yeah. I couldn't remember what the third Green Bryn portal led to for a moment.
Now, farfelu gets to have with 500 damage on this beam, this is going to be pretty decent. He's going to go ahead and start with a speed booster shot, and then we'll go for the microwave. Or maybe just go for the grapple kill. That works too.
Okay. I mean, there's a threshold of E-tanks that Varia kind of stops mattering, but I don't know that farfelu's quite there yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like the sweet spot is, and I don't know this number, but as is often, a lot of people don't realize that the way the Crystal Flash works is it does give you a set amount of health back, and I feel like the ideal is to have your E-tank so that you still fill up your reserve tanks when you do a Crystal Flash. Given maybe two reserve tanks and however many E-tanks that would be. I forget what the number is. Maybe someone in chat can remind me what the actual health number that you get back. Meantime, we have Derp frozen here, but I got to stream up, and he is doing at least some of these checks. Is checking the E-tank and check the right supers, but I don't think there was. Yeah, E-tank was just an E-tank, so he's not picking it up.
Yeah, at this point, I mean, you're not going to go back to suitless Ellen for anything if you're Derp.
No, I don't think so.
farfelu still has the question mark of, does he do it?
He's hoping that this plasma beam is the answer, and we know it's not.
Yeah.
I suppose if you're farfelu and you know that Kraid is front of Lower Norfair, do you maybe just do this, but you go straight to Kraid first, and then do Ridley on the way out?
Ooh, maybe. That does seem better, because you get another 2 majors, even if they're just E-tanks, then you have more E-tanks for the way back.
Maybe high jump.
Or high jump to help with the Ridley fight. Or heat shield.
Meantime,
Derp
Derp
the
is
ultimate kicker.
Derp did find his way to Green Brinstar, so he's unfortunately going to do all this clearing, and he's not going to get anything for it.
Yeah, so farfelu should know this is LN, and looks like he's just
going for it. Okay,
So
we'll see what he decides.
One thing about farfelu is that I first heard of him as I was running SMZ3 races, and he was doing a lot of those, and also he's a very good RBO runner. So this is not RBO loadout. You don't usually have space jump and no high jump boots for Lower Norfair.
Yeah, so true.
Or plasma beam for that matter. There's a lot of differences, but it's still, there are rooms that he's familiar with. Like, you get very good at knowing when to crystal flash and when not to push further, like one more room, or one more, few tiles further into the room doesn't help if it can potentially kill you. So
also another reason, another argument for just going straight to the front out of this for farfelu is it'll give you the knowledge of what boss you're facing most likely, right? Because if it's Kraid, then you're gonna expect Ridley, and if it's Ridley, then you're gonna expect Kraid. Now, of course, Surprise could decide we're just gonna throw a Fantoon there, over at Kraid, but you know. But yeah, the missiles in particular, the supers, the extra 10 supers, has a... the beam is... Yeah, because... no, he's going to have full beam, because isn't this where the other charges?
Yeah, so that's another, 50% more damage from his charge shots. So where a Derp needed 12 charge shots to supplement his supers, Farfelu's probably going to have 30 supers, I guess.
Yeah.
But if he didn't, or if he misses one, it's still less than 1 charge shot to make up for each super miss.
Also, he's got 3 reserves.
3 reserves somewhere? Yeah, I think Derp only had the 1, so that's another big improvement.
Okay, so what are we doing now? Are we going to go straight to the front? Yeah, we're going... Okay, he's going straight to the front. I think this is better. This is better.
It absolutely is better. Using space jump.
Yeah, you see how quickly that...
avoid the pirate.
Yeah, as long as you can avoid taking extra
pirate.
hits.
Yes.
But yeah, it is a lot of health very quickly.
You want to get to solid ground here somewhere before you crystal flash, not over crumble blocks.
Yeah, I would just wait
stay
here.
Where it's safe, where there's no Viola's gonna pop through a gap and hit you.
Exactly. Yeah, meanwhile, we got Derp. You know you all can't see it, but Derp is full clearing Green Brinstar and is about to finish that off for... I think X-Ray was the last major item in there that was the only one that wasn't an E-tank. Definitely not what he was hoping to find.
Yeah. Which tells us the Varia has to be in East Meridia at either the Sand Pit or at Shack Tool. And
or
if
the
it's at the Sand Pit, that's...
There's 2 wreck ship locations left too.
Derp skipped those. Okay, I thought.
He did the right supers and he did the E-Tank. I think Farfelu also did those locations.
And the Green Bren as well. Yeah. Yes, that's exactly what Farfelu did. Which makes sense. Top of wreck ship's really slow, but like...
Yeah, I don't think that... 40 missiles, I think.
Yeah,
You're
save.
fine.
You don't even need to save here, because even if you think it still might be shuffled bosses, or shifted bosses for that matter, I guess. Either way, like...
just take the refill, and you're fine.
Just take the health refill, and you've got 34 supers, so if this is Ridley, you're just fine.
Yeah, if you're confident in your Ridley fight, you don't need the save here.
Yeah, and Farfelu has... what was it, 3 more E-Tanks and 2 more reserves than Derp did when he went into the Ridley fight, so...
And we do have vanilla bosses. That is now confirmed. As it turns out, Surprise can look like shifted if you have one of each boss, but Surprise will never be exactly vanilla. Maybe Ice Beam, High Jump Boots.
Yeah, another E-Tank is still
somewhat
valuable.
It's another.
You pick it up.
He's picking it up.
You still got to do Suitless Lower Norfair and Suitless Ridley. Like it's gonna help. Maybe it saves a Crystal Flash. Yeah, you definitely want to farm up all your supers.
Yeah, this is the best super farm in the game, so you do it now.
Yeah, with this much energy, Farfelu is not going to bother to go to screw attack.
No, I don't think so.
You could go that way and take the health refill if your energy was low, and that can make you... it can give you a little bit more mileage on your crystal flashes. You can get further in before you need to do the first one, but it's just not worth it enough with this many E-Tanks. There's one more.
And to answer chat, Varia can never be in Lower Norfair, so GT, while it could be a nice item like Ice Beam or High Jump Boots, it will not be a Varia suit.
Could
be Heat Shield. That would be interesting.
Settings.
Yeah, shoutouts to the Hard Way to Hell tournament that's going to be starting pretty soon. So you want to see the ultimate low percent item set. That is the tournament for you. Yeah, and to your point, like normally when you like in a vanilla map, when you're getting to this elevator, you've already taken a ton of heat damage, and so it makes sense to go and go to screw attack if nothing else to get the refill. But like, you had one tank down when you walked into here, so there's really no point in refilling there.
Yeah, he could probably get with the refill back to the pillars here with like an extra 1 or 2 tanks over what he currently has. But that's barely worth it.
All right. Meantime, Derp is back in Wreck Ship, and he's checking those other 2 items.
I think you have to. Like, he's already come to Lower Norfair and left. Like, you're not gonna. You can't go back. Like, you know you lose if you go back and do Suitless Lower Norfair after trying it and failing it early, just by not having quite enough supers or missiles or E-Tanks. Really, any of those 3, the missiles probably wouldn't have made a big difference. Like, it would have saved him time on the farm, but really the supers or the E-Tank, like 1 more super pack, maybe 1 or 2 more tanks, that would have been fine. Farfelu going to make it all the way into the Pirates, maybe even through the Metal Pirates before Crystal Flashing here.
All right, so Varia suit was at the reserve tank location in the Wreck Ship, and Derp just got it. If we get his feedback here, probably won't see it quite yet, but that's right. Farfelu does the little Mega Man sprite.
Yeah, we saw that earlier at the Mickey
Yeah, I
Mouse
forgot about that.
Crystal Flash. Yeah, Farfelu's not even gonna have to Crystal Flash before Ridley. He's just gonna go right here. He'll have 7 tanks. And
this is a pretty good loadout.
This is pretty comfy. Yeah. It's kind of fortuitous that he just kept getting E-tanks on his path here instead of like Ice Beam, Spazer, High Jump Boots, which normally are the things you want at the major locations, but like those instead of a few tanks might have made a little bit of a difference. Go.
Very nicely done. Yeah, Derp just now way behind because he's gonna have to go back for this this whole sequence that Farfelu's just finishing up. And he does get high jump boots, so he has a Crystal Flash to get out. Might see him farm for a little extra supers just in case he's the second one, but he pretty much has done the hardest part of this.
Yeah, this first one gets you with he's got 3 reserves. I don't know how full they are at this this number of energy tanks, but he can probably he's pausing to check right before the screen fades out. It got a little darker. And he's trying again and still not quite getting Okay, yeah, they're full. So yeah, you can get all the way up to the wasteland, use the power bomb and Crystal Flash up there, or maybe even get the speedball and Crystal Flash at the end of the room if he wants to be greedy, which probably shouldn't be greedy.
Yeah, I've seen too many people try to be greedy in those kind of situations.
Actually, he's got plenty of help.
You get the speedball and then do it right afterwards.
Yeah, you go for the speedball. If you don't get the speedball, maybe you use the Crystal Flash in the little tunnel.
Well,
the way Derp
and
did
I'll point out that he made sure all the Skigas there were dead before he went for the speedball. So yeah, if he had failed the speedball, you just do the Crystal Flash and he would have been fine.
That's basically like a rule in an RBO is that you're a little bit less greedy, or like you're a little bit less aggressive on like your ledge grabs and stuff, just to make sure that you have that screw attack animation going. You know, do slightly floatier jumps just to make sure that you kill the enemies you intend to kill. Not only so they don't hurt you, but also so that you can potentially get their drops. You can kind of farm the Holtzes and Flower House on the way through if you have good movement through it. Yeah, there's the hard part of the seed done for Farfelu. Made it look really easy. I guess still got this one last room, but
the screw attack key hunters are not a problem.
Even
another one of those parts, yeah. One of those parts of LN where it's like the difficulty range between, you know, based on what items you have is pretty significant. There's a lot of different ways.
And we've had that screw attack for 56 minutes now.
Yep.
It's put in its work. We said when we picked it up that it's a little bit more valuable than the spring ball that we saw in the first race, and it really was. That would have been an entirely different Lower North Fair if it was. I mean, plasma still helps, but it would have been pretty different in some of those rooms and a lot scarier without screw attack.
Yeah, Derp also going to go ahead and do the Kraid boss first. He's doing his acid dive right now.
Did Farfelu, is this faster than taking the toilet down? I don't feel like it is.
I feel like it's not, but I mean,
Maybe with like a vanilla. Well, it doesn't work that way.
I mean, Botwoon's dead, so it's fine, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't matter in this game of the race. I was just a little surprised. I thought for a second he was going to kill the East Meridia boss that's already dead.
Now just needs to make his way back to Norfair. And for those of you that may have missed the early parts of this race, we had some very amusing portal situations. We have 3 portals from Criteria into Red Brinstar, including the top of Red Tower connecting to both sides of the west part of Criteria. And then the other fun one was that the 2 portals at the top of Business Center connect to the 2 east portals of Criteria. So Criteria had some didn't have a whole lot of places you could go from it. There's 1 portal from Red Brinstar into Single Chamber to get you to Bubble Mountain to get some things, and then Turian out of the other portal, and as you saw, West Meridia, which branched everything else off into Upper Norfair. So a very weird map.
Yeah. That energy almost calculated at half a tank hitting the elevator here. After all the hell runs, it'll be refilled, of course, with all the ammo.
And in the
really
meantime,
comfy LN. Or sorry,
Derp
not
is
LN,
now
Torian.
Yeah, and Derp's now finished Kraid, so he just needs to go kill Ridley. It's just unfortunate because he did just having, instead of following that East Meridia portal off of wherever that was, following that East Meridia portal and doing all that just led him down a rabbit hole that just didn't work out for him. Farfelu being a little more thorough with his portal checks, working out a lot better.
Yeah, Farfelu definitely played kind of both these seeds a little bit more conservatively with how he checked the portal, because it was similar in the first game where I guess spoilers if anybody missed that one. But there was a similar situation where Derp took the back of Rex ship and it didn't end up paying out because it was through LN to Torian, and then he had to reset the boss kill in LN, and there's being too much time to make up. Whereas Farfelu went and scouted a bunch of portals that were easier to get to, a little bit slower in that regard, but by just checking portals instead of doing bosses, but ended up getting good knowledge and was able to route the end game more cleanly.
Yeah, and of course, like most randomizers, there's no one size fits all way to play every seed. So some seeds you're gonna gain a lot from portal knowledge. Other seeds you're gonna portal knowledge, doing your bosses quicker and not wasting the time for the portal checks is gonna be a better play. So we just had 2 seeds that portal knowledge was everything.
Another nice baby skip from Farfelu. Maybe just 1 extra jump to be safe at the end.
And this time he's got enough health. He doesn't have to take the refill if he doesn't want to.
Yeah. And his reserves are full, so if he doesn't take too much damage from Mother Brain, can still do stand-up, which saves a pretty noticeable amount of time with this beam. Kind of worth doing. Of course, he doesn't know where Derp is in the race. He won't need it to win, but
I will point out though that
maybe found Various somewhere not bad and cut out some of that extra time.
Yeah, I mean it's still a time save to do stand up, but not as much of a time save when you have to pop your reserve and menu to it. So
yeah,
he may decide it's not worth the time. So if we just use beams here, we'll be a 24 shot fight. was about to do the math, and I'm like, wait a minute, this is just a normal beam combination. I know this.
Yeah, we got 2 charge pluses. So it's back to normal again.
Yeah, anybody who missed it, we saw our runners picked up the charge pluses at the same time. It was quite funny. At different locations. One at Mama Turtle, the other at Firefleas. Already at ketchup. And Farfelu wants to do stand-up, so he's gonna pop some of those reserves. Makes sense to wait until you know you can do it, because like if you take enough damage and you no longer have enough to do it, then yeah, you can pop it, and you don't waste the menu popping it.
I was surprised by the turning off gravity suit during it as well. I guess that means you don't have to damage down at all on Mother Brain's ankles or whatever.
Yeah, I think that the way things work with the different suits is kind of funky, and I don't know all the ins and outs, but
yeah, it's just
in terms
the
of
fewer suits you have, the higher the threshold is for where Mother Brain moves on to the next phase of the fight.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah, this is only an issue of Farfelu messes up in the climb and ends up in the acid, but even then, I think he's got enough time to react with this many E-tanks.
Yeah.
Or I guess a disastrous Mother Brain 3.
I mean, you would turn your gravity... First, you would turn your gravity suit back on.
Yeah.
And then you'd be fine, right?
Yes. Don't get quite the full effect of the stand-up without Ice Beam, so still needs a few Hyper Beam shots, but not very many.
Yeah, very quick Mother Brain 3, which is nice. And it'll head on to the escape. In the meantime, did get through Ridley. Ridley is on his way to Kurian.
Yeah, once again, I feel like I should have known this, but Farfelu definitely not moonfalling here, as not a moonfaller.
Yeah, I think he's not a moonfaller. He joins you and Audra, and I don't know if J-Ro... I know J-Ro was playing around with whether to start using it or not, and Sloter's another famous moonfall. Fun fact, you could win a tournament without moonfall, because both Sloters and Aldraxis have done it, so...
Aldraxis and Farfelu both still alive in this one, as Farfelu is about to take game 2 and move on. GG's to Farfelu. Great couple games here. Yeah,
finishing with a race time of 1:07.16, and Derp this time has decided not to finish. I don't blame him. He's quite a ways out. Very well played by both our runners. Just like we said, the portal knowledge just was everything in both of these seeds, and just worked out that Farfelu went for the portal knowledge, and it benefited him. I do believe we have both our runners joining us. GG's, guys.
Yo, GG's.
Alright, good game.
So yeah, I mean, I know you have. I've seen definitely some discussion in the race room, but yeah, it just kind of came down to both seeds. Farfelu, you just were valuing that portal knowledge a lot more, and just worked out for that these seeds in particular. That just turned out to be really good for you. Derp played very well, but I just didn't quite have enough to get through that lower Norfair, and I don't know. Even if you'd gotten through the Ridley fight, Kraid being at the front of LN just wasn't going to work out very well for you.
Yeah, I mean, I said it in the race room, but if there was an E-Tank at Firefleet, I probably would have been able to make it through. I would have been able to skip a Crystal Flash, and then I would have been in a much better position going to the boss. And it wasn't even guaranteed that the boss was vanilla, from my knowledge, but again, it would not have mattered. I was betting on it, not being a double boss area into one way for the second seed in a row.
Yeah, that was pretty brutal. But yeah, I mean, when you hit Lower Norfair at the end of East Meridia, I think Ace and I were in agreement that it was a good play for you to go for it, because with the exception of what exactly happened, it could have worked out pretty well. Just get it done and over with.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was in such a bad position. Like, I remember going into that portal check, I was like, please be anything but front of LN. Because if it's back of LN.
Anything.
Because if it's back of LN, I'm kind of obligated to follow it.
Yeah.
Because it's so bad to get back here. And then, of course, there it is, front of LN for the second seed in the row, being the worst possible portal for me.
Yep, absolutely. Because in game one, I mean, taking the aggressive route into Lower Norfair from Wreck Ship. In that one, it was kind of a little different because you kind of swap places in terms of order that you did the first boss. So, again, if that spits out anywhere else, you would have been in really good shape. It was exactly Turian, and well, we both liked the play where you just reset out of Turian instead of wasting time with the save near Ridley and backtracking all the way back, because it just I mean, even though you had to re-kill the boss, it was still a faster play to reset.
Yeah, I think it was definitely like multiple minutes faster, but it just wasn't enough. I think I really should have just gone back to East there. I know both portals, like, admittedly what ended up happening was a pretty low percentage play, but it's right there. I was thinking like a couple different times, like I should just be going back, and I never did. And well,
I mean, there were definitely some weird portal situations in these seeds. So in the first seed, you had the East Meridia back-to-back right over at the bottom of Red Tower. I don't think I've seen something quite like that before. Certainly can happen. Obviously, we saw it today. And then this seed, you had 3 portals going from Criteria to Red Tower, including the 2 at the top of the Red Tower that went to the 2 West Criteria portals. And then just to really have weirdness, you had the 2 Business Center portals go to the 2 East Criteria. Like we both all just looping, and just that little point that kind of connected these 2 areas into West Meridia. Just what a weird setup, and and shout outs to Green Bryn being absolutely trash in Seed 2.
Yeah, I mean, those E-Tanks might have been helpful for Farfelu. I mean, surely they were to make it easier. I'm actually curious, Farfelu, at what point you were like thinking about that committing to Lower Norfair there, because at some point you'd figured out, like, at what point were you thinking that was what you're going to have to do, or were you kind of giving up on Various Suit? What was your thought process there?
I decided to skip that after Plasma Beam when I found it's about the same time I found Brinstar. I think I knew not long after that Lower Norfair was again a dead end, but this time I would have to acid dive. But with Brinstar, I was pretty confident I would find enough safeties in Brinstar, so that's why I did the safety checks. Going to the bottom Eticoons and then go up at the early supers and all that stuff. just to be sure to get the most possible safeties for that acid dive. It was pretty scary, by the way. I was not sure. I know Brez did the math before, and with and without space jump, but I just didn't remember the numbers. So yeah, I save at the end of East Merida just in case I don't survive that. But I was not so sure. So, but at least I know with space jump you save a lot of time because you can start climbing before being all the way to the left. So that's why I just went for it. But like Derp, I think an E-tank there would have made me a lot more confident.
Sure, yeah, it was a really smart play to just push through the acid dive though and go to Kraid's lair. Obviously, grab the two E-tanks there. That made it easier for the backtrack and for the Ridley fight, of course. Didn't even have to crystal flash before Ridley, which I'm sure that made that much more comfortable.
Yeah, actually, Tracy talked about the portal knowledge, or maybe it was my luck here was to not find Laura Norfair until very last in boat seed. So it kind of helped me routing after, not finding Norfair. But yeah, in this particular seed too, I decided it was smarter to do the acid dive first because I know it costs a lot of resources and it's way easier to farm in Kraid's lair compared to Ridley's lair.
Yep.
Plus, yes, you get I think I got bombs and one E-tank, something like that. So at least I got one more E-tank for the hell runs.
All right. Now, Derp, this is unfortunately for you the end. Good showing in the tournament. How you feeling?
I mean, not great. Never feels good to lose, and ended up doing pretty bad in the map rando tournament as well. So kind of disappointing results after what I felt like was a pretty promising result at the Dash Invitational in May.
Yep.
I finished second there. I was feeling pretty confident coming into these two tournaments. Practice has been going really well. I've still been practicing map rando after getting eliminated from the tournament and been doing really well in that as well. So I definitely feel like it did not show how good I've been playing, but it is what it is. I might actually be able to attend SG Live this year, so hopefully.
Well, there's another tournament there. So yep, we got
that's the case, and hopefully I can show a little bit better in that.
All right. And Farfelu, you will be facing the winner of Kip and OK Beamer. They'll be playing their match on Saturday morning. You going to get up and watch that? I think they're playing relatively early, not too early in the morning.
Yeah, I'm sure I will be awake. I'll be watching for sure. I'm glad. They're talking about that Dash Invitational. So actually, he kicked me out of that tournament, so I'm glad I could get my revenge today. Yeah, looking forward that matchup, and I think I've raced Beamer before, but I think I never raced Kip in a tournament or an official race before, so I'll be looking forward to that if he wins for sure. Actually, I think the only time we faced each other was in the Rando League, but I faced Derp since it was in team, and I think Briss faced Kip in that matchup.
Okay. So maybe either way, it's going to be a good matchup, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
All right. So, anything either one of you would like to add before we go ahead, or any of you would like to add before we go ahead and close things out?
Would also like to apologize a bit for some tech issues. I know SpeedGaming's been having some issues of their own, but I will say, I don't want to go too in depth in this now while we're wrapping up, but I think for tournaments like this, where there isn't a huge cash prize at the end, like it's not a SG Live event, I do wonder if we can reconsider having a full 10-minute stream delay, because I feel like I have a lot of issues that are made worse with that, and it feels bad. And if obviously we haven't had the issues that some other rando communities have had with cheating in Randomizer, but even then, at the same time, if somebody wants to cheat, like somebody wants to watch my stream for like a $20 tournament, whatever, you know.
Yeah. No, it's just something we can revisit in the future for sure.
Yeah, definitely something I would want to look at. But you know, that's all I've got. Thanks for hosting the tournament, and I'm glad I got to participate.
All right, thank you, Derp.
Yeah, glad to have both of you. Definitely, everybody follow the runners. The command unfortunately is not working, but obviously Derp and farfelu both involved in multiple tournaments, and I expect that to continue. Hopefully, it's always fun seeing you guys both race and racing against you if it comes to that.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and get those. Since the bot's not working, we'll just go ahead and post them in manual. There's farfelu, and then I'll go ahead and get Derps in there as well in just a second. Make sure you can go ahead and hit that follow button on our runners.
Yeah, in the meantime, also big thank you to Jester Zooks. It's a big help to have you track. Always doing a great job and making it easier for us to track what's going on.
Well, and all the work behind the scenes and trying to get things working. And it's definitely been a long day for you because I know you were working on the other the earlier race as well with some of the issues. So huge shout out to Jestro. Really doing a load of work during this tournament, and we couldn't do it without him. In the meantime, we do have a couple races on the schedule for tomorrow at 2:40 in the afternoon. We have Kupo versus Glove. That'll be all 3 games as well, if all 3 games are needed. And then at 7 o'clock, we have 7:10, we had DJ Webb versus V2 Nitro. That'll also be all 3 games. And then the aforementioned Beamer versus Kip. 10 o'clock in the morning, 10:10 with the delay on Saturday morning. And we have Fringo versus Bressingham. That'll be on Sunday. That'll start at 11:10 a.m. All 3 games. So a bunch of 3-game series coming your way in the next few days. So definitely keep your eye out on what channels those will be on. And we'll see you at those games. But yeah, that is going to do it for us. Again, thank you to Jestro, thank you to our runners, and Ace, I'm glad we finally got to do some commentary together. So thank you to you to spotting this game and asking me to do it.
Yeah, it was a great time. I'm glad to have gotten done it, and glad it was a pair of really good races.
Absolutely. But yeah, that's going to do it for us. We will see you at the next one.